Welcome to episode 188 of the Michael Lab Show. Happy Thursday. I think it's the last week of April. We're moving into May, and the CDC's out there throwing around words again, telling us we don't need to wear a mask outside, where I don't know how many people were wearing masks outside. I mean, stop smoking cigarettes. It's bad for you, man. I don't know how many people wear a mask outside. I kept my mask around my ears. I wore it like a diaper. Whenever I was outside, I would wear it like a diaper. And if I was walking by somebody, I would wear my mask. But I was always curious. Maybe not curious. I don't think curious is the right word. That's not a word. Curious. But I remember we would walk around outside, and if I walked by somebody, I would throw my mask on. But there was people just wearing a mask, just going about their business. And I mean, maybe if you had COVID and you still decided to go outside, which is I don't think that's a good thing to do. But yeah, CDC comes out and says we don't need to wear a mask anymore outside. So I have a lot of things I want to talk about this episode. As you can already tell, I probably sound better on this episode. I feel so much better. I think it's been 4 days. I'm recording this on Wednesday. I got my shot Sunday afternoon at 11. So it's been 3.5 days, and my symptoms weren't terrible. I think which what I'm about to say is kind of upsetting, but I think me getting COVID would have been easier than me getting the vaccine. And this episode I'm about to do is guaranteed to get demonetized from YouTube, because I'm just going to say some crazy stuff. Just some crazy things. But America, and Kiss. I mean, Guns N' Roses. Same thing. I'm young. I don't know what they are. I just know they're a bunch of rock stars that had relationships with underage girls, right? Maybe. Did Gene Simmons do that? I don't know. Probably not. No, I don't think he did. Is that slander? No, that's not slander. But yeah, the CDC comes out and says no more vaccines or no more mask for people that are outside, unless you're in a crowded area, which I don't really understand that too much. I guess because if there's more people, it increases the chance of people getting COVID or spreading COVID. My thing with that is, I think most of the I think there's 18 states that don't have mask policies right now. So it's kind of weird to see the CDC come out there's this weird thing going on where they have this perception that they still have a lot of power, which they do, right? I guess the CDC, they do have power. The WHO also has power, but the states make up their own. They do what they want to do, and a lot of the states that are slowly becoming the most popular states in the country. So there's this weird thing going on right now in this country, which I could just be in my own world right now and just obsessing in my own world and just being a full-blown narcissist, but I don't think I am. I think there's a weird thing happening where there's things that are being said and portrayed to the public that are being portrayed as the truth and reality. But if you know everyday people and you have conversations with everyday people, it's not lining up with what you're being told is the reality of life. I know so many people who have moved to Florida, going to Texas, who have these completely opposite viewpoints on COVID and the vaccine and everything. And it's just so fascinating if you look at the numbers of COVID, how the states that locked down heavily versus the states that didn't lock down heavily, there's not a dramatic difference, right, of COVID infections, of COVID deaths. And what there's definitely not a dramatic difference, or if anything, there is some of the states that didn't lock down are doing better. If you just, I know it's really not densely populated states, but if you look up Montana and Wyoming, these states don't have COVID anymore. They're getting maybe maybe like I'm not even kidding you when I say like Wyoming COVID. Like literally they had on they're getting about 80 to 120 cases a day right now. They had 65 cases yesterday. And I know that's Wyoming, it's a tiny tiny state, and I know that like but like even with them, like they didn't get their first day of 100 COVID cases until September 16th. And then their biggest day of COVID was 1262. And I know like these are not highly populated areas, but even if you look at a place like Florida, which I know a lot of people can say, oh, well, they're not testing, but whatever. Like, let's just assume that the data is correct. Even a place like Florida, 5,200 cases yesterday compared to New York, which had 3,300 cases, right? And then 5,200 cases, 4,000 cases 2 days ago, and 6,000 cases 10 days ago. Like, there's not a dramatic difference. Like, this is my thing. I think we're trying so hard to say that this is the right way to do it, or that's the right way to do it, instead of saying, oh, maybe there's two ways to do it, and why are we trying to have a loser in the situation? Like, why are we trying to say Governor Abbott or Governor DeSantis or Governor Cuomo or Governor Newsom or Governor Hogan? Like, why is there a right way and wrong way? And if you're doing it the wrong way, you're killing grandmas. If you're doing the right way, you're the winner. Like, why can't we just maybe accept that there's multiple ways to do it? Why can't we also accept that, this is my thing with the vaccine. So I see a lot of things going around about the vaccine. I've been vaccinated, right? I have the vaccine. It's in my body. I don't brag to people about the vaccine. I tell people I got the vaccine. If people tell me they don't get the vaccine, what I will not say is, oh, you should get the vaccine, because I have gotten the vaccine, and like that's really confusing to me. Like, I'm just kind of trying to put it together. Like I feel like I'm a semi-logical person, and I try to look at. I tried my hardest to understand both viewpoints, and I get it. I understand the viewpoint of, if I got my vaccine, you should get it too, because because the more people that have the vaccine, the lower chance of COVID spreading. But if you have the vaccine, you won't get COVID. The chances go down dramatically. Like, they go down a lot. So why does someone else have to get the vaccine? That's what doesn't make sense to me. Even Fauci, I think, says 75% of the population needs to get the vaccine. That's herd immunity. So why does everyone need to get it? Also, you got to realize there's a lot of people in this world who have had bad experiences with science and have had bad experience with doctors. Like, you can look up, if you just go to a courtroom, you'll see the majority of court cases are medical malpractice. And I'm not saying, well, medical malpractice means you shouldn't have trust in the vaccines. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is that there's a reason why 40% of Marines don't want to get the vaccine. There's a reason for it. And I'm pretty sure COVID vaccine FDA approved. I don't think I don't believe that these vaccines are FDA approved. Like, I think this is my thing. This is what I want to say, and I kind of want to move on from the vaccine thing, but I think it's very important for people to stop yelling at people who don't get it, or yelling at people who do get it. Like, we need to chill out with that, because what we're doing right now, which we don't understand, because I think people don't do their history. And I've been watching the Netflix documentary World War II in color, and I think it's very pertinent to what's happening now. Which I don't think people fully understand, and I don't mean it in the extreme sense, but what's happening right now is we're developing these two different classes of people. We're developing those haves and have-nots, the Jews or not Jews. Like, and obviously I'm not comparing the Holocaust to the vaccine takers, but what I am saying is there's a domino effect, and things always start off small, and you don't realize there's a disaster waiting upon the hill until you get up to the top of the hill, but you don't know that you've been walking up the hill. And what I'm saying is, we can't run into a situation where we've unknowingly, or even worse, knowingly created a social class in this country where we have the people who have been vaccinated, the people who have not been vaccinated. And we can't have the people who have been vaccinating look down upon the people who have not been vaccinated. The same way we can't, if you have not been vaccinated, look at the people who have been vaccinated and look at them like they're just sheep. Like I hear this term all around, you're just a sheep. Like you're just following the herd. It's like, yo, for me, I didn't just get the vaccine because I followed people. I got the vaccine. The reason why I got the vaccine is because I want to decrease the chances of me getting COVID and decrease the chance of me spreading COVID. So what I am saying is, someone who doesn't want to get the vaccine, I'm not saying that the reason why I'm not saying that they want to give people COVID. I'm not saying that at all. For me, I weighed out the risk. And for me, the reward was higher than the risk. So I shot myself up with Moderna. I didn't shoot myself up. But I went ahead and I went to a semi-professional phlebotomist. I don't even know who these people are. Like, I don't think they're phlebotomists at all. And for people out there, phlebotomists are people who are basically they're medical professionals with blood, with needles, essentially. And I don't think it's right to say this person is that because they don't do this or they do that. And that's a scary situation, and we have to just let people make choices. And the choice right now is a vaccine. And for the people who get the vaccine, once you get the vaccine, I don't even know what the point is of a mask anymore once you get the vaccine. Like, and am I an idiot for saying that? I mean, I'm pretty sure like both the vaccines, Pfizer and Moderna, are like 90 plus effective. And like, I think Pfizer said 100% effective for kids, which is such a bold statement to make. Like, that's crazy. Like, in the world of science and mathematics, you never say 100% for anything, or not like engineering. You never say 100% because there's just in the world of probability, nothing's ever 100%. And I think like 98% effective against deadly COVID strains. I think we need to stop ourselves because we're going to enter a weird world where we have the have and have nots. You have the vaccine passport. You don't have the vaccine passport, which I believe that's been shot down. But it's not good. It's not a good thing. And I think there's a lot of not good things happening. I mean, I know like the restaurants and businesses are struggling to hire people, which is a big issue. Like, that's a real issue. Like, we got to understand, when we think the backbone of the country is these smaller businesses. And here's the truth. Because the government's been giving out so much money to people, and because unemployment has doubled people's salaries and incomes, people don't want to go back to their shitty jobs. People don't want to go back working at a restaurant. People don't want to go back, working at JP or JC Penney's. People don't want to go back working at Burger King or flipping burgers. People don't want to do that. I mean, if the government's going to pay me, I'm going to just accept the money. But the thing is with the economy is that the money you make is based on the value produced. You got to realize every job that you do, you're producing something. That's the way economics works. You trade money because the reason why you get money is because you traded your time. Your time was used to produce a service or product, which was then sold, and then someone bought that money, bought that product or service with money, and then that money goes in your pocket. But if your job all day is just to put a pen into a needle, whatever, put a button in a shirt, yeah, you're not going to get paid $30 an hour, right? Because the value of what you're doing is not that high. Plus, it can be easily replaced. But if you're somebody who's supervising 50 people, whose job it is to put the button into the shirt, yeah, your value might be $40 an hour, might be $30 an hour. Now, if you're the person who's in charge of 10 factories, 30 people in each factory, 300 people whose job is to put a button into a needle or a button in a shirt, clearly you can see the growth of the value of that person's job. Now you're looking at somebody who's probably making $1 million, right? And I think it's scary to see if you just walk down any main street where you live. For me, it's in Annapolis. If I just walk down Main Street in Annapolis, I see so many help wanted signs. So one of my buddies at the gym, he posted something on Facebook like saying it's impossible to hire anybody because nobody's working. They get hired, they realize it's hard work, and they don't want to do it anymore. Like, I think that's scary. I think that's scary because people have gotten to the point now, which I've said in podcasts before, and I stand by it, that people are relying on the government to give them money. And that is a bad thing because the government sucks with money. I mean, there's a reason why we're so much money in debt. Like, we're not good with money. We've devalued the dollar at an extraordinary, exponential pace lately with the way we're just giving out money. And I'm all for giving out money. I think if people need money, give them money. But there's got to be an exchange. And you also can't just be, when you're giving out money, it should be pure money. It shouldn't be these other, like, we're subsidizing this, we're giving this country this. Like, what are we doing with that money? Why are we doing that? Like, you got to understand, as a taxpayer, you are part of the war on drugs. You're part of the military-industrial complex. You're part of the prison-industrial complex. Unfortunately, like it or not, you are contributing to that. As much as you hate police, as much as you hate military, your money's going into their pockets. You got to understand that. And every time these stimulus packages get passed, and every time these bills get passed, there's a huge wave. There's a 2,000-page book. One page of the book says something beautiful, and it says something that make you back the bill. And what it says is $1,400 to everybody. But the other 1,999 pages of that book could be evil, but you don't care because the one page benefits you. You're greedy. I'm greedy. We're greedy, but we are contributing to the chaos. And I think that's just the truth. I don't know. If someone wants to debate, then that's great. But there's a serious issue right now, I think, in this country of people losing their mind about people not getting vaccinated. Don't get vaccinated if you do not want to. I don't know why that's so hard to say. Get vaccinated if you want to get vaccinated. No one should be forced to get a vaccine. And I think the games would be played a little bit different if it was polio, if it was a very deadly disease. But I think if you just look at the numbers, it's not. You know, and like here, and I in the title was clickbait, but not really, because I was watching this beautiful podcast. And look, I'm gonna say it up front because I know a lot of people. I don't know what it is with people in Joe Rogan, but people hate him. People hate Joe Rogan, and it's kind of fascinating. If you just see the things that have been put out, like just the clips by him, I can see how you don't like him. But the things that they say he is, he's not. That's just the truth. He's not a homophobe. He's not a transphobe. He's not a racist. He's not a bigot. Like, he's not. He has people of color on his podcast all the time. He has black people on all the time. He has Hispanics on all the time. He has transgenders on. He's had that transgender comedian. He has him on. He loves. I don't want to speak for him. I don't want to sound like a complete fucking idiot, but. But he's not these things. And I saw it was going viral Wednesday morning, like 100,000 tweets, just saying that he's ruining America because there's a clip of a podcast that he did with Dave Smith, and which was a beautiful podcast, which was a great podcast. It was a podcast that I think everyone needs to listen to. Dave Smith is a radical, he's a radical libertarian. And a libertarian is somebody who literally believes in autonomy at all costs. They believe in freedom at all costs. They believe you should have the choice to do what you want to do. And that's it. The war on drugs, they believe that should be completely gone. They should believe that the military-industrial complex should be flipped and taken away. They believe in a lot of these things. And there was a part in the podcast where he says, yes, I believe you're a healthy 21-year-old. You should not get the vaccine. And what is wrong with saying that? Like, seriously, what is wrong with saying that? I don't understand. If you're a 21-year-old person and you don't want to get the vaccine, you're healthy, you shouldn't have to get the vaccine. This is crazy to think that we're forcing people to get the vaccine. Like, I don't understand that. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I've just been watching World War II documentary and I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just, I guess maybe I'm just looking at the future and what this could bring, and it's not good. It's not good, you know? As much as I believe in the vaccine, as much as I've took it, I would never tell somebody that if they don't get it, they're part of the problem. Like, because you're not. You're not part of the problem. The person who's part of the problem is saying that they're part of the problem. If you've been vaccinated, you're not going to get sick. You're not going to die from it. So who cares? Like, who cares? Like, look, seriously, if there's a room of 50 people and they're all in a tight room, tiny room, and you've been vaccinated and 49 people haven't been vaccinated, none of them have a mask on, you should walk into that room without a mask on. You've been vaccinated. If you believe in the vaccine that much, who gives a fuck? Right? Or am I crazy for saying that? Or because I believe in the vaccine, I believe it works. So you don't believe it works? Do you see my point? What am I talking about, dude? Your Governor DeSantis is going to be the president in 2024. Just watch. I'm not saying I'll vote for him. I'm not saying I'll vote for Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or whoever the libertarian. That's who I voted for, by the way, in 2020. I voted for Joe Jurgensen. I'm a libertarian. I am. I didn't know it. I voted for her because I couldn't vote for Donald Trump because I don't like his racist remarks. And I couldn't vote for Joe Biden because I don't think people with Alzheimer's should be running the country. But I do think Governor DeSantis is going to make if not president, I do think he's going to be the vice president of Donald Trump, because you haven't seen the end of Donald Trump. You just haven't seen it. And CNN and Fox and all these news outlets, MSNBC, they need Donald Trump again. There's just not enough news stories to talk about. Even if you watch CNN, the news stories they talk about is about Donald Trump. It's kind of insane. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, he makes these people so much money. So much. You know how many journalists have been laid off because Donald Trump isn't in office anymore? You got to say something. You guys got to talk about something. You need him. The news outlets need Donald Trump just as much as Donald Trump needs the news outlets for them to talk about him so he can get elected. But there's a reason. I think Governor DeSantis is slowly becoming the people's champ. I think you just can't argue the facts, and the fact of the matter, people moving out of these countries, they act like countries. These states, New York City, people are moving out of New York. People are moving out of California. Like, what's going on in California, dude? Are we not talking about the fact that Governor Newsom just got recalled? Dude literally just got recalled. Governor Newsom, this is how bad people are thinking that he did with the COVID lockdown. Adult film stars turning into Newsom. That's hilarious. And Jenner. Here you go. California restaurant owner pleads for Governor Newsom recall. What he's done is traumatizing. Yeah, I believe it is. What else? So Governor Newsom recall. Recall why? Because they hate him. They don't like him. That's just the truth. They're not happy with what he did. There's a lot of people who are out of business. Only 4 out of 10 likely voters said they would vote to remove him and recall, while 56% that they would vote no and 5% are unsure. He said it is what it is. An RNC-backed Republican recall of white supremacists, anti-Semites, and people who are post-immigration immigrants is an accurate assessment of who's behind this recall. Wow, he's saying that they're white supremacists. 1.6 million people who voted to recall him are all white supremacists. That's a bold statement to make, brother. This is my thing. Like, I don't like how we talk Democrats and Republicans and lefties. My candle's out. No, my candle's gone. What shall I do? Oh, man, say bye-bye to Magathy Coconut. I bought Taylor 2 brand new candles. Oh, man, that makes me sad. Whatever. It's okay. Had a good run. I don't like how I don't like this team thing that we're doing. It's frustrating. This Republican recall threatens our values and seeks to undo the important progress we've made, from fighting COVID to helping struggling families, protecting our environment, and passing common sense gun violence solutions. There's too much at stake. Who led the grassroots effort to recall the signatures? Recall Newsom hailed a critical milestone by noting how many people had predicted the effort would fail when it started. The people of California had done what the politicians thought would be impossible, said Heedy, a retired Yolo County Sheriff's Office sergeant and founder of the California Patriot Coalition. Our work is just beginning. We're required to gather more than 1.495 million by March, the equivalent of 12% of the vote in the last election. Still, this now triggers the next phase of the recall process, 30-day business period in which voters may submit written requests to county registrars of voters to remove their names from the recall petition. I think it's fascinating to see that it's not whether he gets replaced. It's the fact that there's enough people who think so low of him that he should be replaced. And I'm not taking a side either way. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, COVID's going down in California, so he's doing something right. But I think maybe people are upset that the measures were so extreme. And not that they were so extreme, but they were so extreme for so long that like a lot of damage was done. I think that's what people are upset about. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But let's get off of that. I don't want to get too much into that. Because I'm not somebody who like I said, I think I'm a libertarian. I'm very freedom of people's rights. I think drugs should be legal. I think war on drugs needs to be abolished. I think people should come here to this country, and I think that coming here illegally, there's a reason why people come here illegally, and I think that it's because those countries they're coming from are so corrupt, and I think the system should be better for these people to come here. I don't think people should just be crossing the border though 24/7. I think that people should be coming here. It should be safer, and I think the screening progress should be better. But I'm all for people coming here. Like I'm all for it, dude. I'm all for it. Like come on over here, dude. Trust me. I know plenty of crying white people that are saying that their job's too hard and they can't do this and they're crying about this. Dude, I'm telling you one thing. I've worked with a lot of Hispanics in my life. They work harder than most white people I know. A lot harder. And I'm just saying that from my experience, and that's the truth. Like I know a lot of white people who cry about little tiny tasks. That's just the truth. Hispanics will outwork all you people. You guys are tripping. Shout out to Hogan though. Dude bought a house like literally 5 minutes from my house. Yo, that's another thing that was kind of confusing to me. Governor Hogan, whatever, he bought a $1.1 million house in Davisville, which is where I live. Maybe too much information there. No, it's public information. I can't get in trouble for that. $1.1 million house. And I was talking to somebody about this, and I was like, this doesn't it seem like somebody would be like, hey man, don't do that. Like, don't go ahead and buy a house in the middle of COVID. Like, he has money, right? A $1.1 million house. That's a lot of money. But, like, the dude has money, right? He's a governor. His salary is good. Like, what's Maryland governor salary? Yeah, I mean, his salary is $150K, right? So, I mean, it's not, like, crazy money, but it's, it's decent money. It's decent money. Let's see what his net worth is, though. Oh my. Said he's made about $2.4 million in 2018. From 2015 2018 he made, from 2015 to 2018 he made $2.8 million. That's pretty good. Dude knows what he's doing. Yeah, I don't believe in this. So on Star Grab, they're saying He's 5'7". He's 63. He looks a lot younger than that. His horoscope is Sagittarius. His religion is Christianity. It says his net worth is about $300 million. That's definitely not true. There's no way his net worth is $300 million. Yeah, I don't believe that for a second. Let's see who his dad is. Why do I care so much about this guy? I'm just fascinated. But yeah, he just went ahead and bought a mansion, like right next to the house, right next to my house. I don't know if that was a good idea. I think someone on his PR team should be like, hey man, you shouldn't do that. Like, there's people out here struggling every day. There's people that don't have money here. Like walk the streets of Baltimore. People are begging for money. They got syringes sticking out of their arms. Like, you probably shouldn't be out there trying your hardest to buy a brand new house. Like, maybe wait till like the everything's done. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's just maybe I'm just being a jerk. Well, it was kind of fascinating. His dad. Whoa, Lawrence Hogan wrote a book called Terrorism: Defensive Strategies for Individuals. Oh, that's crazy. This guy was like the Osage Indian, the true story of the tribe of Oklahoma. Well, Governor Hogan's dad was like he was an author, and he was like he was an American politician who served as a Republican U.S. congressman representing the 5th Congressional District of Maryland from January. Who was the president at that time? That's wild, man. Runs deep, dude. It's crazy, man. The power runs deep. I would hate to be dude, I would be the worst politician. I think I would be the worst politician ever known to mankind. I just can't lie. And I think I'm too nice of a guy, too. But yeah, shout out to you, Hoax. You go and get your bread. Get yourself a nice apartment. Do your thing. Who cares, man? Whatever. Just maybe next time, just wait a little bit. But I like you, Hogan. I served him twice at a restaurant. I like Hogan. Hogan's a good guy. I do like him. He's a good governor. But I want to reopen, though. Really bad. So, come on, dude. Let's get opening. What else is going on? It's falling apart in India, dude. Like, it is falling apart in India. That's crazy, dude. You know what's even crazier in India? So, like, look, let's look up United States COVID vaccines. So this is what I'm talking. This is what I'm talking about when you look at like population. So far in this country, 43.2% of our country has been vaccinated. That's also 141.8 million vaccine dosages. That's a shit ton of vaccine dosages. Now, if you look up, that's the U.S. 43%, also 142 million dosages. So if you look up India, only 8.9% have had the first dose, but 121 million people. That's crazy. Let's just say 121 million times 0.089. That's 10 million. 10.7 million, 10.69, 10.8 million for every 1% of the population. That's like they need just crazy number of vaccines. They just can't get them. That's the thing. They just can't get them, dude. It's wild. It's crazy to think. It's also crazy to think like how China doesn't have COVID anymore. Like, I don't think you can even. Yeah, so it says China has given out 200 36 million dosages of vaccines. But China says that China hasn't had a case. They haven't had a day of more than 100 cases of COVID since March 5th of 2020. They don't have COVID anymore there. Like it's kind of crazy. COVID vaccines. I don't know what vaccine they're using though there. I would guess it's probably a yeah. So they've given out 235 million vaccines, 236 million vaccines. This right here on Biospace from 2 days ago. This is crazy. This is what I'm talking about. This is what you're talking about when you're dealing with China. Death, disability among side effects of Chinese COVID-19 vaccines. Leaked documents from provincial and municipal governments in China reveal a slew of previously unreported severe adverse events related to COVID-19 vaccines. God, dude. Sinovac for emergency use. See what that even is about, dude. Who is Sinovac? I never even heard of Sinovac before. Let's see who the owner of that company is. Yin Wing Dong. Yin Wing Dong. Yin Wing Dong. Ying Wing Dong. He is the owner of Sinovac Biotech and Xi Jinping. Yeah, I don't trust anything that China does. Nothing. Not even one thing. It's crazy. I was listening to this podcast with Rogan, and I think his name is Josh Rogan, Rogin, Josh, and he's a journalist, and he was talking about the lab leak theory of COVID, and that's the thing that's kind of confusing me the most about all this going down with COVID is nobody knows where COVID came from, and nobody really cares where COVID came from, and like I can Google it right here, like where did COVID come from? So this is what Google says on Wikipedia. Severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, COVID-2, is a novel severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus. It was first isolated from 3 people with pneumonia connected to the cluster of acute respiratories in Wuhan. All structural features of the SARS-CoV-2, where did I want to know where it came from. Experts say it originated in bats. There's also how the coronavirus behind Middle East respiratory syndrome and severe acute respiratory made the jump to humans at one of the humans' open-air wet markets. So that's what WMD says. That was this time last year, though. They said that there's nothing really new about it. WHO reporting COVID. I think the former head of the CDC came out and he said he was looking into, or that it could possibly, I think he said that it could possibly be a lab leak of COVID-19, which wouldn't be a shocker. I mean, apparently this lab in Wuhan they got hit twice. Or they got hit, maybe twice. Or they got hit in 2018 for being faulty and like not keeping up with their standards. Markets that sold animals, some dead, some alive, in December 2018 have emerged as a probable source of the coronavirus by the WHO. Says that the report does a good job of laying out. I don't know. I just want to know, like, why. First of all, why aren't we trying to figure out where it came from? And second of all, yeah, that's my thing. And why don't people care? Like, why don't people care? Like, what if it was a attack from China? Like, I'm not saying it was, but what if it is? Do we just not care enough? I mean, it's been a great weapon if that's what it was used for. Like, I don't know. I just think the responsibility needs to be pinned to somebody, but nobody cares. Like, I remember when Donald Trump was talking about it, people were like, I mean, yeah, he said racist things. If you could look over that, which is really hard to do, but if you could look over that, he said, I think, a lot of things that were true. Like, it could have came from, it could have been leaked. And I just think that's important for people to really grasp, instead of just, the Trump effect is so powerful though. He says something, it's him saying it, and everyone just writes it off. But you can't, did 100% of the things he said were wrong? I don't know. Even if it was 2% and that 2% was right, we got to say that was right. But I don't know. I recommend going and listening to the podcast. I got to finish it with Josh Rogan with an I. But yeah, guys. So I got to say, I don't really have too much more talk. Oh, I got my internship, which that's probably why I'm in such a good mood. I'm so happy, dude. I got my internship. I'm actually going to be done with college by December. That's crazy. I never thought I would be done with college. As long as I've gone to college, I never thought I would graduate, which would lead you to the conclusion of, why would I even go to college then? Like, what are you doing at college? And my friends, that is a conundrum I had for so long. Why am I going to go to college when I don't only see myself graduating college? But now I do see myself graduating college, and it's a good feeling. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'll catch you guys on episode 189 of the Michael Lab Show. Peace out. See you. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Rate the podcast. Donate to the podcast if you would like.